once you figure out, oh man, I'm lost in a tech trance. Oh, I'm on a Netflix binge. Oh, I probably shouldn't be doing that, but oh well, I'll just drink another glass of wine and then I won't think about it, eat some popcorn. And then you spend day after day after day in that state, you're just losing touch with yourself. And right now is your calling. Your calling to show up. Your calling to effect change. We are in the midst of a huge transformation in the lives of ourselves and the lives of humanity, and we are being called to show up in a brand new way. How are you going to know how you're supposed to show up if you're not listening? You are listening to the ultimate biohack for women, a movement of women who know what they want and go get it. You know the answers lie within. Reach in and grab hold. This is a movement of women who tune in and turn themselves on. Now you're biohacking the woman's way, integrating the art and science of hacking your biology like a woman. Tap your magic, conjure your yes, upgrade, elevate, maximize your potential. I'm Dr. Brandy Victory, and this is a movement that is sure to hack your soul. Hey, okay, before we begin, I want to give you a little food for thought, something to chew on here, because as I'm noticing we're starting to lighten up around the COVID thing, we're starting to move around a little bit more. It's also in my space that we're not out of the woods yet. So take that into consideration and make sure you're prepared. You really should be prepared to the best of your ability. If you don't know every single thing there is about boosting your immunity and optimizing your well-being, you need to register today for my free Boost Your Immunity 5-day bootcamp. Get on the show notes. I'm going to have a link right down there, and let's shift you from a place of uncertainty into a true place of optimized health, optimized well-being, turning those mitochondria on, getting you the tips, the techniques, and the tools that you need so you can move from fear, from lack of understanding, and move into a place where you feel confident moving forward that you're taking concerted, proper action to up-level your own well-being. Again, that's the free Boost Your Immunity 5-day bootcamp, and links are in the show notes. Hope to see you there. Hey, beautiful babes. I hope you are feeling your Wheaties about now. I know it's been up and down. Crazy shit, dudes. Oh my God. Not that you're a dude, but, I actually went on a little trip the other day, a trip down the mountain. I live up here on this beautiful cliff of a mountain, and am pretty much sequestered away from the rest of the world. Like I don't get the impact necessarily as it's really impacting other people, because I'm kind of up here just doing my thing, and I'm loving it. And it's keeping me safe. And I'm like, I like it up here. And we had to go get groceries. So we had to go down. And so we go down, and just so you know, I'm really over all this. I'm over the masking. I'm over wearing gloves when I treat patients. I'm over social distancing. We're actually planning a party to celebrate the lift because we're over it, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm all over it. And when I got down to Boulder, I was like, oh, the rest of the world is not over it. As a matter of fact, they're deeply steeped in it. Oh my God. It was crazy. I was driving down Pearl Street, and I was driving by these little shops. Like I like these little coffee shop and these little clothing shops and the Laughing Goat and, all my little spots that I just enjoy so much. And the doors are just shut tight, and there's handwritten signs on the doors closed. It really, honestly, it reminds me of The Walking Dead. I drove by a park where people are usually playing and outside and just doing things, and it's all grown up. It's like overgrown. Seriously, it looks like The Walking Dead. Like it feels like The Walking Dead. Yes, I am a Walking Dead fan. I'm a lover of The Walking Dead. Thank you very much. But I don't want to live The Walking Dead, right? And so when I went, it just kind of all hit me at once how so many people's lives are devastated. absolutely devastated by what is going on, that these little mom and pops may not be able to open their door again. And the way life was will never be. I totally feel that. We are just shifting into something new. Now, I had a moment, of course, where tears were streaming and I had a little freak out, and I brought myself back around to the reality and to my deepest understanding that there is divine intention and divine plan in everything that's happening. Like, I absolutely believe that to my deepest part of my core. So I use that to help me stay out of this place of judgment of, oh my gosh, all these poor people. Oh my gosh, life isn't ever going to be the same. Poor me, And when I can get back into okay, there's a divine plan here. There's something bigger working this all out than I even know. And I have total, absolute faith and trust that it is in all of our best interests, that we're always growing and evolving, that we don't ever go, man, I wish I could go back. Well, part of me kind of would like to go back to the 80s, but that's only part of me, right? We don't really want to go back because we grow, we evolve, we change, we move, we get into a new flow. As we age, different things are more important to us, and we're learning to shift with this dynamic that's happening in our world. And so, I guess, why am I even sharing that with you? I just telling you about a little experience I had, so it's kind of like all over the place with me, and just like with everybody else, but it was a slap in the face. It was more like a punch in the stomach. Let me be real about it, to witness the reality of life from the perspective of Boulder. And this is happening all over the world, and Boulder's kind of doing probably pretty good compared to even other places, So, yeah, I'm feeling you, ladies. I'm feeling you. And we're all feeling each other. We're all feeling each other. I was working with a patient the other day, and she's just distraught in a place of despair, really, because there's no sense of understanding of what comes next. There's no understanding of who she is in the world now. And I think we're all going through that. We're all feeling the pain of the world. We're all feeling the concern and the uncertainty of where we're going and what's happening. And then we're feeling into the collective grief of letting go of what was. And so, of course, we're going to be on somewhat of an emotional roller coaster. And we could possibly even go into despair, especially if you don't have a strong faith. And I'm not necessarily talking about religious faith. I'm talking about faith in God, faith in yourself, and trust that you are in alignment with our higher powers, intention, and plan. And I believe that we have to do everything that we can possibly do in this very moment to stay in alignment, to really be in the flow of God's grace. And you can call it spirit, universe, creator, whatever you want to do. But really, we got to really be in the flow of that. And sometimes that means, at least for me, that has meant really stopping moving. And it feels like universally we've been stopped, right? We're quarantined. We can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. But I happen to be very good at doing, very good at doing. And so I've been just doing my ass off, girls. Let me tell you, oh my God, it's been nuts. I've been having so much fun. It's been great. I'm creating so much, the Boost Your Immunity 5-day Bootcamp. It's free, by the way. Another one's coming up May 18th. Please be there. It is amazing. I'm going to show you how to turn your mitochondria on. So that was just born out of this quarantine. The Own Your Glow group coaching program finally launched because of this quarantine. I'm reconfiguring actually how I'm working with patients. I had a one-to-one group program developed, and now I'm kind of looking at that going, is that really what I want to do? And maybe I just want to work with people individually and leave it at that. And if they want more of the group kind of thing, they can go in the Own Your Glow. Right. So there's all these things that are changing, all these things that are coming to life in my doing, which makes me feel so freaking good. Right. But then I easily lose myself. I easily get disturbed on some level and have to bring myself back. And so, I'm pretty darn good with my morning spiritual practice. Like, I do not make appointments. Well, my plan now is to never make an appointment before 10 o'clock because I have to get my practice in. And if I have an appointment at 9, I just have a freak out and I don't have enough time. And so, but I'm pretty good with it, right? I'm pretty good with it. And, some days I do it. Some days I don't do it. Some days it's going out in nature. Some days it's sitting in front of my Gohonzon and chanting. Some days it's doing Kundalini. Sometimes it's doing all of it, right? And I've noticed I have to take more time for that. I have to take more time for self. I have to take more time for painting and just going outside. I literally just went outside and moved rocks around and lined a trail that we've been building on our property. And, it was just to be outside for 30 or 45 minutes. And it just did my soul such good. And I'm just sharing all this with you because I want you to really consider how you're spending your time, how you're spending your energy, right? So this conversation is really about helping you bring awareness to how you're giving to others, giving to yourself, and at what expense or what benefit. It's a really important question. Yeah, it's a really, really important question. So thinking about your day. Who is it that you give to? Maybe you have kids, maybe you have a husband, maybe you don't. Maybe you give to yourself. And what are you giving to? Are you giving to your creative passions? Are you giving to your work? Are you giving so much to your work that you lose yourself in it? Are you giving to food? Are you giving in to your emotions? Are you giving to the media? Are you giving to your technology? Are you giving to social media? Are you giving to all the people on social media that are just expecting you to show up? They're not. They're not. And I know I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Stop. Just stop. Stop the media. Stop the social media. Stop damaging yourself in this way. Like, seriously, if you can't just stop the media, I know it seems like I'm on social media, but I'm really not, just so you know. I'm really not. I don't do social media. I do it in my groups because I want to support my women. And that's where I show up and I post some things and I schedule my posts out. So they're all posted. I schedule 50 posts at the beginning of every week and they just all go out. And I don't have to peruse, surf, be in anybody's conversation other than my own. So I go in there and check on it a couple of times a day and answer people's questions and put a comment in here and there. But other than that, I don't, because that's fun for me. But if I was perusing and I come across post after post after post of someone sick in bed, wondering if they have corona, the biggest thing that's up right now is the conspiracy theories that are just like, ooh, woo, ooh, ooh, all over the place. And I'm just like, fuck. Like, seriously, what good does it do me to know that there's these conspiracies going on? Today, a good example of this is I had to take my truck to the shop to get the tires changed out. and taking my snow tires off and the oil changed. And so I dropped my truck off and Roger picked me up. Well, I get in and his thing is he doesn't do media except for a few times a week when he gets in his truck at the top of the hour. He will listen to the first 30 minutes of the top of the hour, because they'll kind of highlight everything you need to know. So that's really actually a good way to do it. You don't have to get drawn into it, right? I personally don't do that because I absolutely know the world is not going to end without me knowing about it. And it's better off that I don't know about what's going on out there. Okay. Seriously. Same for you. I promise. It's same for you. I know it's addictive. I know it's so addictive. I commonly think about this experience that I have had so many times. I'll go to like a Mexican food restaurant or a sports bar and I'm hanging out with my friends and I'm talking and eating or whatever. But then at some point, I'll find myself totally staring at the TV at some freaking football game on TV. I do not know football. Like, I know nothing about football. I don't like football. There's no reason for me to be watching football, but I'm just staring at it. And even more so when the commercials come on, I'm like, oh, I don't have TV at my house. So this is like a novelty. But I find that I get like drawn into it to such a degree and I don't even care about what's on there. What the hell is that? How can that possibly be happening? Like there's something going on there that's doing that to your brain that makes that happen. I am not the only person this happens to. I know it's happened to you too. And you got to think about that. Like, are you giving your energy and your attention to something that is programming you to be less than or to think you're less than or to impact you on an emotional, vibrational level? Like, where are you giving your energy away to? Because listen, I was going back to the story. I got into Roger's truck and he was listening to the top of the hour. And as soon as I get in the truck, he knows, he turns it off. And I just said, oh, you can listen to it if you want. And he's like, oh, no, I got what I needed. And then he turns to me and he says, so they're thinking about taking away our right to vote. I was like, what? They can't do that. He's like, well, hell, they can't. They've taken away these right and that right. And I'm not even gonna be able to tell you what rights, but he just went on about it. Right. And okay. So the question is, did I need to know that? No, because if I could do something about it, that would be a whole different story. I want to know about the things I have control over. I want to know about the things that I have the ability to have an influence on and change. And you know what I've found is that revolves right around me, in my body, in my environment. I can't change my family. I can't change my friends. I certainly can't change the government. I can't change my neighbor. As a matter of fact, when I see a patient virtually or in person, I can't change them either. That's not my job. I give them the power to change themselves. That's it. We each have the power to change ourselves, and we have to be so conscious about where we're giving our energy to. Where are you giving your energy to? And then once you figure out, oh man, I'm lost in a tech trance. Oh, I'm on a Netflix binge. Oh, I probably shouldn't be doing that, but oh well, I'll just drink another glass of wine and then I won't think about it, eat some popcorn. And then you spend day after day after day in that state, you're just losing touch with yourself. And right now is your calling. Your calling to show up. You're calling to effect change. We are in the midst of a huge transformation in the lives of ourselves and the lives of humanity, and we are being called to show up in a brand new way. How are you going to know how you're supposed to show up if you're not listening? One of the things that makes it really polarizing, which is what we need as women, who are as women, we need if we're the woman who's, and it doesn't matter what kind of relationship you're in, if you're a woman and you're in your feminine, you're like the feminine aspect of the partnership, you need someone to show up in their masculine, right? And then, so for Roger and I, over the years, we've been together 11, coming up on 12 years. Over the years, we've seen this whole dynamic that we do. We like come together, sparks fly, then we get away from each other and don't see each other a while because he's traveling or we live an hour apart or whatever. Then we come together and sparks fly. And this going apart and coming together, going apart, coming together is just like, it's just part of how our relationship works, and it works really well, and we love it. And we've been quarantined together, which we don't fight. We've never, ever had a fight, but our polarization was getting funky. It was diminished. So, and I personally, being a very sexualized being, have to have that. So I brought it to the table. I was like, I'm just really feeling this. And he's like, yeah, I get it. And what we realized was that we were still doing this coming together, going apart business. However, we were still living in the same house. We were going apart, but living in the same house. And that wasn't working. All right, girls, that doesn't work. Does not work. So I was really happy we brought it to the table. We talked it out. We talked about different things we can do to create rituals and deeper connection and more fire in our relationship. And it was helpful. But, the reason why I'm sharing that with you is because if there's someone in your life that you really love and you want to be around, but it doesn't feel good, bring it to the table. Bring it to the table. You have the right to enjoy every moment of your life. Like, you don't really have a lot of time here on planet Earth. You might as well make the most of it. Like, seriously. All right. I'm coming into my late 40s. I'm here in my late 40s, I guess. And I'm noticing this rising up of this observer of how time is passing in a way that's never happened in my life before. So I'm like, oh crap, I better get on it in this lifetime because we don't have much time here, right? So make the most of it. If it doesn't feel good, change it. Stop giving yourself away. Stop giving your energy and your attentions to things that bring you down. I did not need to know that the government is trying to take away our right to vote. I did not need to know that. And there's so many things out there that are just going on that I don't need to know. As long as I don't know about it, as long as I don't go down to Boulder and see it, I'm okay, right? As long as I don't turn on the media and see it, I'm okay. Like, I don't have to think about it. And then I can be in my creative flow and it feels really good. And that's all I need to do, because I am doing everything I can to bring more light and awareness and expansion to this planet. And that's what we're all here to do. And if I'm inundating myself with the crap, not that going down to Boulder was crappy. I'm really glad that happened to me, just so you know. I needed to see that, really. It brings me a lot of compassion for people. And it helps me to also reflect compassion back onto myself, because, there's times where I'm beating myself up. I should be doing better. I should have gotten all this done and that done by now. And, all these stories that I make up in my head. But the reality is what the reality is, and I'm doing the best I can. And how about feeling the same amount of compassion for myself that I feel for others when I realize that we're all in this together, right? This is a big time, ladies. And it just feels really good to be able to share this stuff with you and really just bring to your awareness how you may be able to recognize how you're letting things impact your life in negative ways that you didn't know before. And now you get a chance to change it. Yay! All right, woman, I'm just going to jump off here. But before we go, I just want to leave you with the reminder to register for the Boost Your Immunity free 5-day bootcamp starting May 18th. I'm so excited. So we'll get you boosted and optimized, and we'll have a lot of fun while we do it. So I look forward to seeing you there, Mama. Mwah. All right. And before you go, I just want to give you a quick reminder to go into the show notes, click the link, register today for the free Boost Your Immunity 5-day bootcamp. Let's optimize your well-being. Let's improve your immunity. Let's boost your mitochondrial function, and join me in this adventure of shifting you from a place of fear and uncertainty into a place of optimized health and self-confidence. All right, girls, see you later. Thank you for listening to the Ultimate Biohack for Women. If you'd like to dive deeper with our tribe, join us on Facebook or Instagram. And if you'd like to help grow our tribe, share this episode with your friends. Let's bring this light to our community so that other women can know their true power and we can create a tribe together worth being in.
This podcast is for information purposes only. Dr. Brandy Victory is not a medical doctor, and the views and statements expressed on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Dr. Brandy Victory and the producers, disclaim responsibility from any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. This podcast may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.